art is why I'm talking to you right now. I'm really, really excited to have BBH feature my work. I'm a long time lover of, fan of, admirer of, supporter of, down for, up for Brooklyn Boyhood. So I'm excited to be able to have my work be featured on the site. This is my third, I guess it's kind of apropos, right? That my third exhibition is called Trinity. I didn't do that on purpose, it just happened. Sometimes the poetry just writes itself. But yeah, so Trinity is my third solo exhibition. I'm really, really excited. It's going to be at Azucarera Gallery, uptown in Harlem, 414 145th Street at St. Nick. And the reason why I chose to do it is because I felt like it. That's pretty simple. And I wanted to share new work, make new work, and also talk about the interconnectedness of art. A lot of people focus on one art form, or they're like, oh, I do X, right? But as far as my work and the work that I get inspired by a lot is like multimedia, multi-dimension, multifaceted work, and my work just is always boundary jumping. And so I'm a poet, and it just makes sense for me to have my visual art happen and be on display for folks to like feel and commune with as I perform. That makes sense. And then it makes sense to have music, and it makes sense to like talk to people, and it makes sense to like talk just to it makes sense to like have it be interactive and have people like write their own thoughts on the wall, and it makes sense to like all of these things make sense, but in a lot of ways they're different. So you have performance poetry or spoken word poetry, which typically happens in its own space. And then you have visual art, which typically happens in its own space. And then you have artist talks, which happens in its own space. So I'm excited to be able to put them all together. And that's what Trinity is really about. It's about looking at all of the different art, not all of them, but looking at art forms that move me and that I care about, and putting them into one space. So when I say Trinity, it's not like a fixed like trifecta of triptych three things. Like it's not, a fixed thing. I feel like you can throw any three things into a pot and like see what happens. But as far as what I talk about in the description of Trinity, it's about video art, performance art, and visual art. I could also say it's about canvas, wood, and paper. I could also say it's about solace, love, heartache. I could also say, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's about taking things and putting them together and seeing what happens. Kind of like a recipe, It's really about boundary breaking and not fitting into a specific category that may or may not suit you or what you're about. Like the categories that exist don't really suit me, and that goes for being an artist or a person. Like I was born in the States, but I'm Nigerian, right? So I identify as Nigerian. I grew up between here and Nigeria. Everyone in my family is Nigerian. Like I have a Nigerian name, a long, 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 beautiful Nigerian name. But sometimes people look at me and they're like, oh, you sound like that, so therefore you're American, or therefore you're black. I'm like, that's not who I am. That's who you think I am, or that's who you need me to be for your identity to make sense, but that's not who I am. And so I identify as like a hard femme dyke, right? Which to me is like, the simplest way I could put it is like stilettos on my feet and like a chisel in my back pocket. Like I'm a lot of different things, and I'm hardcore. I'm also soft and all that good shit, right? But when people see me, they may not necessarily want to recognize or respect that I can fix shit and I can carry shit and I'm mad strong, but they want me to fit into this whole idea of what a lip gloss dyke is or whatever, but that's not who I am. I also identify as a dyke, and some people are like, well, dyke means butch. I'm like, no, it doesn't. That's just what it means to you, but that's not what it means to everybody, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that in a lot of different ways in the world, society tries to put me into boxes and categories that don't fit. And the same thing with my art forms, like in trying to describe what I do to folks, I use the word multi a lot. Multi-dimensional, multimedia, multidisciplinary, like I'm just multiplied everything, right? So the purpose behind this show is to, this exhibition, show expression is to acknowledge and love all of that, and to honor that, and to respect that, and to celebrate. I say celebrate that, you know, and to be like, I'm a lot of different things. Let me share them with you, right? And let me see how those things interact with each other, and let's talk. Let us talk through the art and within the art and all of that stuff. Materials. I love materials. I'm such an art supply nerd. I'm also like an office supply nerd. I'm just a nerd. So, materials that I use, well, um, photography, canvas, wood, acrylic, spray paint. Spray paint is always a good idea. Cloth, Sharpie marker, permanent marker, paper, newsprint, stickers. Would you call those stickers? You'll see what I mean when you come to the exhibition. Why I'm like, are those stickers? But a piece of paper that's kind of adhesive on the back. Stickers. Thread, needle and thread, yarn, breath, tears, silence, thoughts. I don't know if those are materials, but they definitely played a role in what's come out in the exhibition. And I think life as like the ultimate material, life and experience. Yeah. Collaborations, shout outs. Oh my God. Thus far, who's been super helpful would be, of course, Nova Gutierrez, who is the owner of Azucarera and is so sweet and so amazing and so like patient, and she's like the best. She's like the artist, you know, because she's like, it's okay if you don't have like exactly this figured out, because sometimes you're just in the process and you figure it out. And I'm just like, why do you know my soul? But so definitely Nova, who you're gonna meet when you come. She's so sweet, and I adore her. Show Me Noise, DJ Show Me Noise, my homie, who is DJing on Friday at this gallery. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have like a mix of hers to play on the closing exhibition, but she's going to be there for the opening exhibition. Show Me is amazing. She's just the sweetheart, and she's a really gifted musician and DJ, and I'm excited to have her spinning in the space. Definitely Simone Nicole Sneed is her full name, who donated canvases to me, and I was like, I need art supplies, and she's like, yeah, I've got some canvases. Do you want some? So that's exciting. Ty Freedom Ford, who I have to pick up some wood from her that she said I could have, but I'm, shouting her out in advance. Because by the time you watch this, hopefully I'll have picked it up. Let's see. I mean, the regular crew of folks who always help me through my artist, amazing crew would be Davi, Makweke Zara, Adaku. I'm sure Mookie will be amazing. Am I missing someone? Of course I'm missing someone. Brooklyn Boyhood, for being so down and up for sharing my work with the world and coming through and spreading the word, and just being such amazing family. It really means a lot. It's really important that we support each other's work in the world, because all of our work is like the life force of each other, So me being able to see BBH do what they do, and then them being able to see me do what it's like this cycle of just dopeness. So I'm excited. Thank you so much. Well, Zara just had a ridiculously amazing art exhibition last Friday, so I'm really proud of her. It's her first ever, and so it's inspiring to me to see her work in the world. I think Davi, who I mentioned earlier, is this ridiculous musician who's working on an album, and his work continues to inspire me. It's so beautiful and so next level. We really need to have that on the radio. I mean, of course, always love the Audre Lorde Project and the work that they do to support LGBTSTGNC folks of color, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, transgender, gender nonconforming folks of color. They're phenomenal, so check them out. What am I feeling? I mean, I'm really been feeling Pablo Neruda and Rumi. I've been listening to some Otis Redding a lot. Well, Otis Redding has been like moving my spirit. And house music. Definitely, of course, always feeling and loving BBH and the work that y'all do. Always. Yes, I have it on vinyl. The original fucking recording from 1976. Thank you, from Broadway. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, I'm something and someone thinks it's fly. I just try to be honest and humble and kind and thoughtful, and to move with integrity. And I try to give and to take, right? And to not do too much of either. You know, I think if you give too much, you're drained. If you take too much, you're an asshole. So I try to find a balance between being drained and being an asshole. And that's why I'm so fly. No, to present in a masculine way when you were born a woman or born female or born into what a body that people think needs to be feminine. To be masculine despite of, because, or whatever, to be masculine regardless of what people tell you you're supposed to look like, and talk like, and walk like, and fuck like, and is such it's like such a miracle, and it's so difficult in a lot of ways. I think it's really easy for butches to be butch because, and I'm just using butch. I don't mean to like tell people how to identify. I just really like the word butch. So I use the word butch as an umbrella term for like masculine women. That's not trying to tell anyone that they're butch, but just so you get where I'm coming from. It's one of my favorite words, right? So I think that it can be really easy, right? Because if you dress butch, if you are butch, if you feel butch, if you walk butch, if you have a butch spirit, in order to be that in the society, it's probably really natural because everything is telling you not to do that. So it's like really, really easy on the one hand, and then like really, really hard because people keep trying to tell you to be something else. And I would have to say that just to know that you're so loved and you're so precious, and all of your hard, tender, rough edges and sexiness, your breath, your growls, your vigor and your passion are so appreciated and so precious, and we love you. And not to forget that. And you're held sacred. And I know you might feel desecrated in some spaces, but to remember that there are so many people who hold you sacred. Every time I see a butch in the street, I'm just like, oh God. I just love you so much for being who you are. And yeah, I guess that's it.